Welcome, Kat, and welcome, Andrew. We want to thank you for reaching out to us. We know that there's some sort of conflict that has come between you two. You guys are hoping to come down to a solution. If not a solution, maybe some dialogue, some communication between the two of you to see where we go. So we're
Jose
and I are here to help facilitate your communication. There's no time limit on this. Like, even if we don't get anywhere today, we can have multiple sessions and come back. Everything that's said within our meeting stays in the meeting. Everything is confidential. If you guys ever feel the need, or if we feel the need that one of you guys, we need to have a private meeting with one of you guys during the course of the meeting, those are more than welcome, and you guys, of course, are more than welcome to request those. Jose, do you want to tell them about where, like, water or bathrooms are? Please give me that.
So there's water right outside the door. The bathrooms will be outside the door to your right, and I believe Karina has implied everything we need to know, so we can begin whenever you feel you have the comfortable to begin.
So Andrew, we'll start with you. Why don't you tell us, again, I know we've already met,
Yeah.
but why don't you just remind Jose and I what your background is?
So, I've been in the neighborhood. This is quite an affluent neighborhood too. For about 10 years now. It's been very involved in our community and stuff. My wife and I have owned this property, and we've taken care of it very well. And we decided a while back that we wanted to sort of give it an upgrade, give the backyard an upgrade. And so my wife and I spent about $30,000 to put in a pool, hot tub, barbecue. It was a nice place, including, we provided security fencing, so it's really hard to see in. And around our property we already have like 8-foot tall fencing, so it's not very easy to see in to the property. We try to make it very private, very inclusive, so that way we don't disturb our neighbors very much. And so this starts here because basically what happened is my neighbor came over one day and approached me in the driveway about basically us being naked in our hot tub. And the one thing is, I believe that we should be able to, be ourselves and be out in our backyard, that we have private fencing around, so that way no one can see in whenever we please. However, I do try to limit, when we're out there, I try to make sure that there is nobody out and around, before we get naked and before we're out there. But she's really said that, it's bothering her and the children. I feel like she's calling us perverts almost. And I feel it's very immature. And the one thing that was the last straw for me in particular was the fact that she put a sign out front that said, "No nudity allowed, children present." I feel like it's almost harassment or libel. And it's very low class, especially for our neighborhood. It really just ruins the connectivity our whole neighborhood has to each other, because we're all very connected. And so I really just don't appreciate it. I feel like I don't want to go into a lawsuit just yet, because I feel like it's such an immature matter. Again, as I said, I have 8-foot fences around the yard, and then plus the security fencing, and I feel like it's almost as if they're sort of peering on us and trying to look into our yard while we're naked. and try to use that as an excuse for us, to stop being naked in our yard. I don't know what we're going to do about it.
Mhm. So what I'm hearing is that you and your wife choose to enjoy your backyard in the nude. You've spent that money. I think you mentioned $30,000
$30,000,
to
around
try to
30,000.
make it, I guess, an upgrade and more private. But you feel that your neighbors are peering in to you, and you're saying that your neighbor feels uncomfortable, but you are in your own private land and you feel like it's your right to do with what with it what you want.
Yeah, and as I said, I've taken all precautions possible to make sure that no one's around, that the coast is pretty much clear before going out there and being naked in our hot tub. But I feel like it's a very immature response that our neighbor has given us in terms of the way it's been dealt with.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to Kat, Andrew, and we're gonna have Kat tell us a little about her background.
Well, I'm a mother of 2 young children, 9 and 12. I recently just moved to this neighborhood to get a more traditional sense of raising my children. It's much more of an affluent area than I am used to, but we worked hard to move into this and give our kids the best that we could. And so recently, my kids like to play outside. I mean, they're kids. I try to encourage them to get as much outside time as they can. When we were all just playing back there and I was near the fence when I heard a weird noise, and so I looked and I caught a glimpse of a naked man. So being just generally curious of what the heck's going on back there, I peered through the fence and saw him and his wife naked. So I was really scared of my children seeing this thing because they're 9 and 12. They don't need to see a grown pair of people naked. So I hurried them inside, and I was just generally really just nervous about what I saw. And so I tried talking to our neighbor, and he completely just brushed me off, ignored me, got in his car, and wouldn't talk to me about it. So I'm just really just nervous for my children of seeing this. It's disturbing to say the least. So sometimes they have parties, but that's fine. Sometimes they're a little loud, but I'm more just worried about what if my kids are back there and maybe it's a nudity party and they see a bunch of people naked. They play near the fence. I mean, they're kids. So it's pretty disturbing to say the least. So I did put out a sign letting the neighbors know that the nudity was not tolerated around my children. And my worst fear is my children seeing something that would scar them for life. And then that's when I believe the authorities would have to get involved, because that is exposing yourself to children. So it's quite disturbing.
So as a mother, your concern is the children and the nudity.
Yes.
See, that's the thing is, she says she looked through a hole in the fence. I feel like it's often that I see somebody in the window of their second-story bedroom peering out, and I feel like they're using that as the children as an excuse to basically limit our freedom in our own backyard. And I don't think that's the thing is, we have security fencing all around it. Nobody from that bottom level should be able to see anything. There's no way that anybody should be able to see anything. And it's just a matter of the children. If they're going to be playing back there, it's not a problem for me. And I don't go out when the children are back there. So I don't know how they would see something like that going on. And second of all, a nudity party? Really? A nudity party? I don't even know where that comes off of. My wife and I go out there once in a while, nude, and we don't do anything appropriate. That's the thing. You saying you heard something weird? We don't do anything appropriate at all. Inappropriate. Sorry. Anything inappropriate at all. Sorry.
So you say that you don't go out there naked when my children are out there, but I saw you naked out there when my children were out there. So you saying that you take the appropriate measures to make sure nobody's out there is not true.
Well, I had never gone out there when your children have been out there. That's what I'm saying. And the fact that you said you saw through a hole in the fence, as I said before, seems inaccurate because I keep seeing somebody on the second story looking out.
Well, yeah, we have a really great view from our second story. It's not like I'm peering into your backyard, but now that I know, I'll make sure my kids don't go to that window and look into your backyard if you're gonna be naked.
I'm not trying to argue with the morality police here, okay? It's a matter of
At least I don't have loose morals, okay?
loose morals, excuse me. But the fact that we paid plenty of money for this property.
And so did I.
Yeah, and you know what? We're allowed to do what we want in our private backyard.
Exposing yourself to children
We don't,
is what you're allowed
excuse me,
to
we
do.
don't expose ourselves to children, okay?
So at the beginning, maybe maybe it was my fault to not state. Can we please refrain from interrupting each other? We want to hear everyone's side, and I know that there's a lot of feelings and emotions behind this subject for both of you. But let's give each other that space and that respect to voice our opinions. And of course, we will get to each person. And please, let's. I know we're not in the playground where we have to monitor like put downs or anything. But just know that we want to make it a safe environment for both of you, not just one of you. So let's please refrain from any put downs.
See, I keep seeing that she's like implying that we're doing this in spite of her to the children, as if we're perverts. She's calling us perverts, and I don't appreciate that. That isn't something that we're trying to do. We're trying to enjoy ourselves in our own backyard that we paid $30,000 to enjoy.
So maybe Kat's fear comes from the not knowing. So do you have a little background of it? Is it just something you guys enjoy, or can maybe giving it some background, or is it just, if she doesn't know anything, it's a fear for her and her children, but if that's just your lifestyle and the way that you are, then maybe if you can give her that information and it can be just like, she can be open to it, and then that's where the discussion can start.
You mean in terms of what? In terms of
Yeah, the whole nudity thing.
sort of being nude outside?
Yeah.
I mean, before we redid the backyard, we would go out there every once in a while and tan, but that was rare. And now that we have the pool and stuff, it's a lot easier for us to be out there. And as I said, we took the precaution of buying security fencing for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to have to build the Fort Knox of nudity in order to protect everyone around. And honestly, it seems like it's a matter of, if they appropriately cover their windows that's the thing, is they're peering into our yard too. So I think for them to put somebody in their second story window might help.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it seems like their children haven't said anything about it. It's her who's constantly peering on us.
Mm-hmm. So Kat, what are your worries? Like, let's say children weren't involved. What are your worries? Do you have any questions for Andrew about the whole nudity thing?
Well, I mean,
or
if
about
my children weren't involved, I don't care. Like you're naked in your backyard, whatever you do, you're not doing anything really weird back there. I don't care.
okay.
But now it's just the fact that my children could be walking by the fence. Children are curious. I hear something going on. They have a pool. They want to look. And so if my child goes back there and sees a naked couple, I don't want them scarred for life from that. Or I guess now that our second story window peers directly into his backyard, which I really have no idea about, could be a cause for concern. My children what if they're just hanging out by the window and see some naked people? I mean, they're really young. They just don't need
You're
to
gonna find out about nudity someday anyway.
They still don't need to see their neighbors naked. I mean, yes, they understand that people are naked, but I mean, that's just awkward.
So what do you think about the kids and them being exposed?
I can usually put up an extra layer of security fencing against the fence, so that way no one can see through the small holes in the fence if that is a major issue. There's no problem with that. But in terms of the window, that's on her end. I think she needs to do something about the window, putting up something proper to block the view of the backyard. So if that's the only view that she has of the backyard, it's an invasion of my privacy. So.
What do you think of his
Privacy problem.
response?
I wouldn't mind putting up a curtain if you would put up an extra layer of security fence. I mean, we could get one of those curtains that block out light. I mean, it's a nice window, but I understand, like, him not wanting to be seen while he's back there, and I don't want my kids to be exposed to something like that. So
Yeah.
putting up a curtain would.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with putting up the extra layer. I just don't want to have to build an extra layer on top of the other security fence that I have to make it. That would just ruin the value of the neighborhood. It would just look weird at that. So
I feel like we're coming into an understanding, and I think the big part was because Andrew took this step beforehand and spent that money to try to secure it. Of course, nothing's perfect, it couldn't be done 100%.
Yeah.
But now that we know it's the fence issue, it's the holes in the fence, and it's the window because it is the second story.
I don't mean to invade into your private life, and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that your family can enjoy themselves too out there. That's the whole part of it. Me being taking the whole precaution of the fencing, and anytime I go out there, I try not to. I make sure the coast is clear, but apparently maybe a couple times it slipped through the cracks, and I didn't notice there was anybody out there. So I'm willing to put that extra layer out just in case.
Right.
And also taking the sign down, I think that's a little bit ridiculous.
So what are we thinking about the sign?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely take that off down. I mean, if he's willing to put up the security, another layer, and if I put up the curtain, I mean, there would be technically no nudity then.
Yeah.
My kids wouldn't accidentally be exposed to it. I don't care what he does in his backyard. I really don't. I just care that my children potentially seeing something that was already.
Has this ever been an issue with maybe another neighbor, like your other neighbor or
No,
a side neighbor?
We're pretty close to our neighbors, and we never had an issue with anybody else.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, do your other neighbors know of your lifestyle?
I don't know if I call it a lifestyle very much in terms of
Of what you choose to do? Like, do they know that that's something? Like, is it known to your neighbors or no? It's
I'm not entirely sure.
like
That's
the
all.
only reason she
they-
knows is because she.
As I said, I make sure that I go out there when the coast is clear, so I make sure that none of my neighbors are around.
Mhm.
I don't know what they've seen. They're welcome to approach me on that if they have an issue. I think that's it. When I do the refence, when I make sure the security fencing is up, I'll do it on all the fences around just in
Okay.
case to avoid that issue. But I haven't heard anything from anyone else. And that's some of the neighbors are some of the people I invite over for parties and stuff too. So it's not, when we do parties, it's not a nudity party or anything like that. It's just a normal party, barbecue. That's what we have. We use our backyard a lot of times for that. But my wife and I like to enjoy our private time together, and we don't do anything inappropriate. We make sure that we try to enjoy ourselves. The $30,000 that we spent.
So I think, Kat, your needs of your kids feeling safe will be taken care of when the second layering of the fence goes up, and then when you take care of the whole blackout shades on your window, and then your needs will be taken care of with you choosing to do what you want in your backyard, but also have your neighbors feeling like they're also being taken care of. Do you guys feel the need that there has to be like a date limit on when this needs to happen, or do we want to set a date, like in 3 months, by 3 months it should be done, or do you guys think this is something that can just...
I work often, but my wife and I could work something out. I mean, it's not too difficult to put that extra layer. Just a matter of screwing it into the fence.
Mhm.
So
What do you think, Kat?
That works with me. I mean, I can go to the store right after this and pick up a curtain. So.
Okay. So this would just, we don't need anything written down formally, this just be taken care of itself.
I mean, we can write it up formally. Then we have it there, but I mean, that's no issue.
So do you guys think 3 months or less than that? What are you guys thinking of the amount of time?
I would say a month.
A month?
Yeah, I think that would work.
Okay, so I think we could write it in a month. The blind should be up. The double fencing should be up. And I think just as a precaution, maybe just keep, being aware of your neighbor and being like, oh, the kids are outside, like you are already, but just being a little more, paying a little more attention to when the kids are out, and then you maybe like making sure the kids are not that you want to be able to enjoy your house as well, but just know that, you know.
Yeah, that they're not lingering around like that.
Right. Okay.
Sounds good.